Hey, Mindful Seer peeps. I have been getting the nudge for a while to speak to everyone in the collective about sleep. My name is Kristen Giesland. I am the Mindful Seer, or a Mindful Seer, or Mindfully Seeing. And why do I say this? I say this because I'm a clair psychic and medium who practices for many years a Buddhist meditation practice. And so between the mindfulness practice and the clairs, as well as my mediumistic abilities and also some precognition that comes through during dreams, I do consider myself a seer. I've always been interested, tapped in, and tuned into what was the best for the collective. I worked in human service jobs, meaning all kinds of jobs, helping people, doing counseling and coaching and community outreach and education, and eventually administration. So I've worked with thousands of people literally over 30 years as a professional helper, doing lots of counseling, guidance, coaching, etc. So that was my background before my clairs opened. I had 30 years of a career doing all that. And then about between 13 and 15 years ago, I went through a dark night of the soul. And as I came through that, all of my 4 of the 6 clairs really opened up for me. So all of your senses have an extended sort of version, which is I call it Spidey sense version, or commonly known in the psychic healer community, psychic medium community as clairs. So each of your senses has sort of an extra sensory version. And some people have 1 or 2. I do have 4 that I use professionally. The ones that go with, I consider myself clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, and claircognizant. I believe that the claircognizance was there all through my professional career. And I always used to know things, but I didn't know why I knew them. And so many of you probably have that experience as well. You know things that you've never studied or read about, and suddenly you just know the right answers about certain things. That's claircognizance. So most of us are going around with clair abilities. We just don't realize that we're using them, until we start really dialing them in. So Spirit has been prompting me for several months now, I have to admit, to speak to all of you about sleep. The one thing that I see over and over and over again when I'm doing a 5 frequency wellness check, which I use this little guide, and we go through 5 areas, okay, of your the different things that are in your life, your physical area, the emotions, your intellectual life, your spirit soul journey, your relationship with higher power. When I'm doing these readings, and any kind of time I'm doing a reading, and when I do theta healing, at the end, I always ask Spirit, is there anything else? Anything that I haven't thought of, anything my client hasn't thought of? And so frequently, over and over and over again, Spirit will show me when people are not getting enough sleep. And thank goodness I am a very great sleeper. But last night, due to this huge blue super moon, I was awake. I was awake late, didn't go to sleep until late, and then I was awake again in the middle of the night. And what we know about how our bodies and our minds replenish and restore is that sleep is just critical. So I wanted to say and remind everybody about that. If there are any issues that you have with sleep, please address them. There's so many things that we can do to sleep better. Stop our caffeine intake sooner. Get more exercise. If we need a sleep assist, we can use, melatonin. We can use valerian. We could have chamomile tea before sleep. So many things, stopping our video consumption earlier because that's too stimulating for the brain right before sleep. I happen to be a good sleeper, so I can push that a little. But, it's the time when both your psyche, gets a break, and your whole body system is rebooting while you're sleeping. So your immune system actually sort of restores and does a lot of work while you're sleeping. I looked it up because I wanted to know exactly what happens. So apparently we have Our cytokine, we have a cytokine storm, and we also, our antibodies and our immune cells are replenishing while we're sleeping. So that's why it's so critically important that you get the sleep. And I know why this, I know this is important, or Spirit would not show me this every single time I practically ask, is there anything else? If there's a sleep issue, then Spirit lets me know. And, as soon as I say, Spirit shows me the person, taking a rest, lying down, in their bed, whatever, something that lets me know this has to do with sleep. And I'll, every single time I ask, hey, how's it going with the sleep? Are you sleeping okay? My client will say no. So that's the thing I really want you to all be conscious about. And from what I understand, if you have a few nights during the week, that you're not sleeping great, you can catch up on that by sleeping more at another time. And it's okay if once in a while, like usually I might have 1 or 2 nights during, a lunar cycle where the moon really has me up and I'm not sleeping deeply or whatever. Or sometimes before I do an intuitive fair, I will be, already doing the work and sort of into the energetic field, that's about to happen, the next days. And I won't sleep as deeply. But most nights I sleep really well. And I'm so grateful for that, because I know a lot of people really struggle with the sleep, and with the amount of stress and chemical invasion that we have, right now, just, out there living in the, our modern world, that restorative sleep time is just super critical. So I felt strongly that I wanted you to know that, since that is the most prevalent message that I get over and over and over again. Now, of course, there's zillions of other messages that are unique and individual to each client that I work with, but that particular one comes up whenever it's an issue. And I wanted you folks out there, to really take care with your sleep and do whatever you have to do to get a reasonable amount of sleep. And don't short yourself. They found, they've done a lot of studies recently, that we need more sleep than a lot of us are getting. So I like to sleep. I don't set an alarm clock. I allow myself to sleep as long as my body wants to sleep. And I start my day when my body says, hey, yeah, it's time to get up. And if I wake up really early, sometimes I'll be ready to wake up all the way. I'll check and see if my body wants to go back to sleep. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And the other thing that's good for people to know is that the sleep that we get before midnight is yin nourishing sleep. So if you feel like your divine feminine energy is getting tapped out, then it's important to get sleep before midnight. That's when we get our yin replenishing sleep. So especially for anyone that's doing a lot of nurturing, of themselves, friends, family, you need that yin energy restored, to be able to keep up with that. All right, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say. My name is Kristen Giesland. Again, I am the Mindful Seer, or I'm going by Mindful Seer because I think everyone can see mindfully. Everyone has intuitive abilities, and I work a lot with people who want to develop those abilities. I've always been an empowerer. I'm not interested in being, the one who exclusively has the information, because the information that I'm accessing when I'm doing readings is truly available to anyone, that wants to commit the time and space to calm their busy chatterbrains down enough to be able to tap into what's all right there, hanging in the matrix. So that's pretty much it. Peace and happy. You can find me at mindfulseer.com. That's my new website, still under construction, or Mindful Seer on Facebook. I do offer I'm offering some mini sessions right now, which is, what I would do like at an intuitive fair. The work of my heart is to really support other leaders, healers, and seers who are at the point where they've done some shadow work, but they're looking for frequency fine-tuning. You may have new professional or creative goals, and sometimes it's, we're so fixated on supporting everyone around us. Sometimes it's hard for us to move forward with our own creative agenda and our own, taking things to the next level, in our own service journey. And I particularly enjoy, supporting other leaders, healers, and seers, in their creation. I do believe that if we focus, with our creative abilities, it's completely possible for us to co-create a future. I like to say we're co-creating futures. I'm not a future teller. That of a world that works for all. Okay, peace and happy, everybody.